we're going to do an overview, the recap of things that the Father revealed to us this week. Because as a believer, if you were on here and you saying you know God or love God, it's a shame that there are actors who have real and more faith, who have been or a show and approve of real faith in comparison to some of these people who are Christian, Catholic, all these other backgrounds and claiming to be believers, and especially a lot of these prophetic voices. And then the Spirit just revealed that some of these people are saying you are making things difficult for content creators. You're being known as revealing, exposing content creators. Okay, again, you call yourself a believer. Are you a believer? Are you a content creator? Anything you put above Elohim is an idol. Are you? And so right now, we know the phones and things listen in and track data and track information. Governments track information. Companies and organizations track information. It's not just analytics and data. Anyway, that's why you have your algorithms. That's why you have your feed profiles. That's why even when you don't have, you're having permissions to track or to help a company with what relates to you, showing you things that relates to you, it still does it. So like right here, this is a Google search bar. I don't have location, tracking, any of that stuff on here giving permission for it. But guess what comes up? Things that I talk about, right? Things that I talk about in my day-to-day life, in open conversation, where is that information being received from and inputted and transmuted to? Anyway, this is one of the headline things. Deeply divided state house approves. That part is just in regards to, if you're looking at, as Elohim says, watch. Be watchful. For the believers, real believers, be watchful. I keep asking the Father this: where are your people who believe in you, who are in love with you? He gave me the message that they don't believe yet, but they believe he's working. That was last week that he said that to me. Anyway, deeply divided. We know, as the Bible says, a house divided can't stand. Now, this is regards to belief. If it's supposed to be a body that's united, but it is divided by different ideologies, by putting the world above it, by how many, the Ruach has revealed, so many people have said in the content creator space, in the first state space, in government space, in organizations that we visited and volunteered at before, and people in communities who said they mean well. Oh, we were trying to help you with this value, or I was trying to help you to accomplish this, or I was trying to help you get this resource, or I was just trying to be nice to you, or I was trying to be your friend, or I was trying to show you the value. Or other people, well, they were taking the value of your work and not knowing it, and this and that, and all of these other kinds of things. Well, again, the Father continues to reveal things about his creation. There was another. There are people, you watch it, I don't even have to say their names, they have been over this week professing that they're prophets. Where in the Bible have you seen that done? They're to defend themselves? Are they following after? And the Father has shown me that people have come into agreement. They were like, we come into agreement to get you out of the YouTube space. People did that in the very community I live in. Some meaning well, some not. Like, we don't want you here anymore. It's not about what you want. Elohim wants to, and other people have revealed, Elohim has revealed other people's perspective of, she's there to drain the swamp. As he gave me today, don't take this tagline, but you're a cleaner. You come to clean up. Because he wants to clean and wash his people and make them ready, a bride that is ready. And people are getting, and people, yeah, they're hurt. They're in their feelings. They are feeling judged. They're feeling attacked. They're feeling unloved. However, you cannot be serving Elohim and putting your content creation, putting any of that stuff above him, because you could not help. All of you women, it's not even just women. We had more than, what was it, 59% or 65%, mostly men in these last couple of weeks. Why? Because the Father has revealed some men who try to steal our information where they don't know it. They don't have the gift. They don't have the wisdom. They don't treat their women right and their daughters right. And they're perpetuating that ungodly man traits to the next generation. The fact that you would try to come to take from me proves you're not standing on authority of Elohim. I give great credit to a man like Jason Wilson who understands that. The Father has even showed people, like, I don't know all of their beliefs and all of their details and all of that, but just the understanding that he's given a person like him, or the understanding that he's given a person like Tim Ross. Again, I'm not advocating for them or taking them away or saying to people, believe them or don't believe them, or these are the righteous ones or not righteous ones. I've seen people like from the Asian community who they have the pureness of Elohim. They're not tainting the word. They're not tainting their walk. They're not leading people astray by the fear of, oh, I'm a content creator, by the fear of, oh, I have to tell people I'm a prophet, by the fear of, I have to like, we're explaining things that happen because Elohim trains us and teaches us, but as somebody, I'm a messenger. And I've said that because there's other things that people are saying. You're a pastor. Just be a pastor. And I'm like, no. And the reason I say what I actually am as a disciple, I'm not saying those things because I'm like, oh, I'm proving to you this, is because I'm canceling out the lie that I'm a pastor. I'm not a pastor. But also because as a believer, I do not agree with people being led astray. I do not agree with falsifying the word. I do not agree with watering down the word. I do not agree with tainting the word. I do not agree with watering down the lived experience of a believer. Now, I can understand these people are going through transformations and transitions, but the change of the world is not the renewed mind and transformation of Elohim. Elohim has already, and a person I listened to yesterday. I mean, that, like, the Father, just their thing was in my feed, and they never said Yahuah before. And it's not to say that they're not gleaning and learning something, but they never said these things before. Yahuah had exposed them to us before, and we didn't even mention their name before. But it's like, there is a reason Elohim makes us unique. We're called to be a peculiar people, set apart. You're not called to be like, okay, it's the same as corporate. It is. The world is the same no matter where you go. If you are in the way of the world, if you are in corporate, yes, you're not lying. If you're a lawyer, yes, you're not lying. If you're in corporate, if you are in the medical field and high medical field, if you're in politics and government, if you're in education, they are the same. Nonprofits, they all are operating the same because they're under the world. They're under the rulership of the world, which is why Elohim ushers in his way. Because he has a prophecy, you can't change it. Just like it was prophesied that Trump would be president in the United States. Whether people thought they were making it happen by having agreements or what have you, or if I put you on the ballot, if I vote for you, then you got to do this for me. Prophecy means that Elohim ensures what he desires is fulfilled. Why? Because he has a plan. He knows the times of putting his people in exile. He knows the time of bringing destruction and war. He knows the time of bringing in peace. He knows the time of bringing people down to their knees so that they believe and cry out to him. He knows all of these things. It is no different. These people, yes, they're not lying. That person he gave us at Charlotte in an interview, what they said, that one phrase wasn't a lie. That what they, law and corporate and the entertainment industry, they're all no different. That's why when you hear stories about gay initiations or anything with fraternities, sororities, entertainment industry, production industry, Hollywood, politics, nonprofits, they're no different. They do the same things. The evil ones, these are not, I'm not saying all of these people in these spaces, but the evil ones who belong to Hasatan, as Messiah would say, or have the Nephilim, they do the same things. Elohim says he doesn't change. He's the same yesterday, today, and forevermore. But the adversary has continued the same attacks. The same way he came at Messiah is the same way he comes at creation. Elohim spoke it because Elohim doesn't change. His word doesn't change. So he said we would crush believers and children of Elohim would crush the head of the serpent. We would be the head and not the tail, above and not beneath. And we would crush the head of the serpent. But the serpent, the seed of the serpent, tries to bruise our heel. But we crush his head. His MO, his modus operandum is he repeats. Why? Because Hasatan was a messenger of light. And now in the earth when he roams, he matches himself as a messenger of light. But he didn't create himself. He was a messenger in the Shamayim that fell. He was created by Elohim. And he, as it tells us in Hanakh, knew worthless matter. All of the ones that fell knew worthless matters because they came into agreement with a covenant against Elohim. Elohim revealed to us the people in the community we are presently in. There were people who came into an agreement together concerning us. Different people, different agreements. Some people agreement, I want to help in this way. But there are people on the back end that people just have been naive in understanding that they came into an evil agreement together. For instance, yesterday Elohim allowed to be revealed a man who was like, this is what happened when you try to play in a league of men. The same exact spirits are present in the YouTube community that are present in the state that I am presently in, that are present in the nonprofits that I was in, visited, and that Elohim had me visited, that were present in the governmental organizations, the governmental programs, different things like that, hospital, pharmacia, any of those places and spaces, education, there are spirits that were present in all those places. Even when I went on mission trips, spirits present in these churches and certain places. And they came into the same agreement. They did the same exact thing. Not all people, but once he's revealed, they did the same exact agreement that Nephilim made. They made an agreement, an ungodly agreement. Today he revealed. Remember, it wasn't just today, 2 days ago or yesterday, he revealed there's a group of people from the YouTube. We're, as creators and stuff, they said it before. What was it, a month ago? We want you out of here. They said that of the community I currently reside into. They did the same thing. They did the same thing. And it's just not an instance where there are instances where Elohim says, kick the dust from your feet. I'm not associating with them. I'm not going around them. I'm not coming and communicating with them and interacting with them. So there's instances where Messiah will walk away and leave. Like when the swine ran off of the cliff, they were like, they didn't want him there. And so he left. And the miracles and signs and wonders that he was going to perform, they didn't get the esteem of Elohim because they were afraid of the miracles, signs and wonders and the works that he was going to do. And they saw one and told him to leave. So he did. There are other instances like with Jonah having to go witness to a place. Jeremiah having to go into exile with the people and different things like that. There are instances where it's not, in all things, Elohim completes and fulfills his word. So you don't just get kicked out of a place or leave a place just because people say you don't interact with certain people in that way and stuff. But when Elohim has the purpose and the desire of what it is, that's what it is. I'm not just, because these people don't want me on YouTube, I'm not going to be there. Because these people don't want me in this city, I'm not going to be there. Well, I'm not supposed to be there anyway when Elohim said he's starting to burn cities. It's spiritually, but it's also physically, because I'm going to read why he said that. The reason I'm going over the recap of the week. So people want to have the Elohim has revealed. People are like, she's a disgrace to the family. She disgraced the name of the family. She disgraced this community initiative. She disgraced the name of this person and their legacy. She disgraced this. Oh, you're being a disgrace to the belief. You're being a disgrace to walking in love. Lies. What is a disgrace is you calling yourself a believer and you doing witchcraft on the people on other channels. What is the disgrace is you're lying and you doing evil covenants. You came into an agreement against the plans of Elohim as a community, as a group of people. They did the exact thing the Nephilim did. Here on YouTube, group of people on YouTube doing the exact same thing. Before they were like, you're not going to, she's still on top. She's in the leaderboard and this and that. And we're not competing with none of these people. Then there's a lot of people that we know what you're saying is true. The witness of the word. It's like the issue is we are letting the Father do this week. We said to him, what is next? And he gave us these visions of things that he gave us visions of over the week. Some of them on license plates and some of them not. And the reason we expose this because it's the completion of the week. And completion of what Elohim was doing this week. Last week, he was talking about your enemies being friends, making your enemies to be at peace with you, along with a whole slew of other things. He's continuing the same work he's been doing. The same work he's been doing. He hasn't changed with his desire to have a spotless bride. BRIDE. He has not changed. When his son said earth is for testing, when Corinthians says earth is for testing, when the renewal in Corinthians it says revere Elohim and keep his commands, when he said I'll put you in the wilderness and all of this and I'm testing, he is whether or not you will follow in his commands. So he gave us, I said, what's next? And I put this vision, and he revealed there are other people's perspective of, you keep falling for their games and their this and that. No, people after the fact of Elohim giving us an instruction want to try to take credit for what Elohim is doing. That's not how it works. So he gave us those visions, and I said, what's next? And when do you want me to put this and release this and place this here? The completion of this week. It's 11:11 right now. This is the second time I saw that this week. When do you want me to do that, Father? The completion of the week. We're going to release this at the completion of the week. Because it's what he was doing during the week. And it's a reminder to the ones who really love Elohim. Who are having a heart and a mind to serve him. One of the individuals they had a word and it was encouraging. That was their point, to encourage. But they had a word because they were explaining all of the things that not all of the things, but kind of highlighting what they were experiencing. It's not like the other people aren't experiencing the fire. All people are experiencing Elohim's working. Kodesh fire. Whether you are rich or not. Whether you are wealthy and abundant or not. Whether you lack nothing in Elohim or not. And this individual, though, was not compromising on Elohim. They were explaining how Elohim was allowing, he was like, whether the people, this was a man, whether the people from the Asian community, I wouldn't say community, but ethnicity, whether Elohim has had you in a season of isolation. So they were expressing their experience of, him removing the people you work with, removing the family, removing friends, removing work, removing so many experiences, removing even not just the habits and the understanding and the knowing and the mindset and the places and spaces, but all things, every area, basically Abba being working in every area of your life. And so this isn't to discredit what Elohim is doing in anyone, but the fire is hitting all people. And he expressed to us why it can't continue if we are to be for believers to put but the content creation, but my viewers, but we know Elohim has already showed us that likes are being hidden. He showed us that numbers of views are being, those things he showed us the algorithms and things being skewed. He showed us people who are supposed to be serving Elohim are truly wanting to be serving Elohim, fighting to compete, feeling like they have to compete with other people. Fighting to compete with the system, to compete with the rules of the world rather than the right ruling of Elohim. Fighting to give into the temptations of the world and say, I gotta do what's trendy and be on top of this. But it's like, again, if you are truly a servant of Elohim, a disciple, a child, and he's created and put you on this platform, or put you in a hospital, or put you in government, or put you in education to represent him and be a light to him, then he wants you to speak and do what he says. Keep his commands and revere him, not man. So anytime as a believer makes the decision to put any of that stuff above what Elohim's instruction is, that's not being the light that he needs. Because as a woman, if you're a woman created as a help meet, how are you the help meet to Elohim? As his bride, we believers, his people, a help meet to him. That goes for the men included as his bride. How is you are a help meet to him and his cause if you say, well, I got to put what the algorithm's doing or what YouTube is suggesting me to do this week when Elohim is telling me to do that? Well, I got to compete with this over here because I'm seeing these person's numbers keep being at the top and I'm trying to be at the top with them, or I'm trying to be seen like them, or I need my channel or the message. Elohim stewards over that. He knows whether or not he's put something on there for it to be seen 8 months later. He knows whether he's put it there to be seen by 100,000, 1 million, 1 trillion people, or one. To be seen, the message to be given. He has multiple witnesses, the witnesses of confirmation. But whether or not the message is for one lost sheep, how are we helping to meet Elohim and get that one sheep? If again, you're like, What are they? Why did you come into agreement with a bunch of people on, this week these next couple of weeks, we're going to declare we're prophets. We're going to declare, are you taking a insinuation from what I'm doing, or coming in agreement with somebody else? Are you following an agreement with, the name means Daniel and Daniela. The name itself means Elohim is my judge. My judge. You can't prove somebody's walking in love by not not walking in love by mimicking them. You are supposed to be a peculiar person. You're not supposed to replicate what is happening on the SAP. You're not supposed to say, I'm going to hear what's happening on the SAP and teach it in my ministry because it blocked me, or because I know this is good information, or because she's a blessing to my whole family. You're supposed to understand, you're supposed to seek Elohim and his righteousness and what he wants, because he knows what he made you for. He knows, and we even, the Elohim revealed, there are some people who think you're not being a blessing, and there's some people who think the thoughts and opinions of man don't matter. But the reason I'm saying this again, because the message is supposed to be for believers. The message is supposed to remind us what Elohim is saying. What Elohim is seeing. What concerns him. What is on his heart. What has he had an issue with? What does he want to be corrected and disciplined? What is he cleaning? What is he shining light on? That's what the reason I am for. I serve him. Because when I ask him, what are you thinking? What do you like? What do you want? You are my husbandman. I'm your bride. I'm your disciple. I'm your servant. You're my teacher. You are my master, Elohim. Because that's what's every day. I'm here to help him. To contribute to his cause. To be his bride, to be his disciple, to serve him. And so what is on his heart matters. What is his thoughts matter. What he cares about matters. What he wants to transform is what matters. What he wants to, his vision is what matters. His mission is what matters. His cause, his purposes, his desires is what matters to me. Because I'm his helpmeet. To me, I'm his woman. I'm his disciple. I'm his servant. I'm all of those things to Elohim. So his cause, what he's thinking, what he's trying to bring forth, what he's speaking about, what he's doing, I'm here to observe him. I'm here to do what I see my Father do. I'm here to follow Messiah. I'm here to learn from Elohim. I'm here to be molded to him as his clay. My maker is my husband. Absolutely is what the word says. This is who I serve. I ask him because he created me for the fulfillment of what he created me for. And only he knows all of the details of that. If you consider what he used, this quote, this ideal that came from Miles Monroe of you want to leave empty of everything that Elohim filled you with to pour out during your time in this earth, then your maker is the one who gives you the insight and all of that. If you want to, Be prepared and ready. As he said, then your maker. If you want to understand his ways, then your maker. If you want to understand his thoughts and his intentions, then your maker. The reality is there's a perspective that some people think that it's gay people that having a problem with you and sending witchcraft and attacking you. But that's a lie. That is a lie. There are plenty of people who are conservative and understand the breakdown, the revelation of the word than other individuals who are calling themselves believers, children of God, prophets, men in a league of their own, they think, that are far from the kingdom of heaven. Just be honest with it. But also just far from being, let me say this, far from being the bride to their maker. The fury and that's what that person brought up. All of those things that we were speaking on, and you could be inspired by somebody else. Again, you are supposed to be peculiar. So anyway, maybe I'm gonna start saying that, Father, thank you for those words. Far from being the helpmeet to the maker, or even caring about being his helpmeet, caring about not just representing him, caring about what it is. And that's where some of these men that I already mentioned to you for a moment, let's go to there for a second, who have not learned and allowed themselves to learn what it is to be a man of Elohim, or what it is to be made in the image of Elohim, or what it is to carry. I'm not saying they don't have responsibilities and heaviness, but Father, give them revelation that you're doing this to help them. What it means to understand what when the word said to love your wife as the weaker vessel. I'm paraphrasing, as the weaker vessel. Because she's the woman, she came from within. There are natural instincts, natural traits, natural ways that she was designed with. It may not be come naturally to you to be the bride of Messiah. But you must learn. You must master it, even as a man. Even as a man, you must master what it means to be the bride of Messiah. So this is why it's not insignificant why he made you a co-heir with a woman. Because even as a man, these men who wanted to say, be in a league of your own, you are missing, so much. As for the sake of your maker. It is not an honor to him when you have that mindset. When you walk around in that way of being. That's not displeasing to him. Why? Because you also are the bride of Messiah. And as a bride, let me tell you, that's not the renewed mind. As a bride of Messiah. So this is why it matters what you learn as a co-heir. How you, even as the man, must become the helpmeet to your maker. You must become a helpmeet to your maker if you truly want to claim the position. Keep your oath. This is what you remind me of the week too. Oath and covenants to him. As a position, even as a man, you are supposed to be a helpmeet. The cause. Messiah was the example. He said, I do what I see my Father do. I'm about my Father's work. He in the word says, remain watchful at the door, for when he comes, Messiah himself is the one to return. But he even remained watchful of his Father every single day. I'm here as a helpmeet to you and to your cause. You love me and I give out love, but you also told me the charity of giving the meat when I'm hungry. The love of not saying I want to be loved, but putting it out there. The love of giving where there is lack. The love of the clarity you pour forth, your understanding and your righteousness. The love of you don't want you desire all to be saved now. But many are called, few are chosen, and is the way that is broad that leads unto destruction, and a way that is narrow that leads unto life, and few that find it. That's his word. It is not to make somebody feel scared, but know that his word is true if you are a believer. People want to feel like we made an agreement to get you out of here. But it's not up to you. My maker is my husband. The maker is the decider. The maker is the beginning and the end. The maker is the first and the last. The maker is right ruling. The maker is truth. The maker is perfect love. The maker is the actual light and life and breath that people yearn for and seek. He is that which quenches the thirst, the poverty, the poor in spirit. For the person who revealed themselves again of how they feel, I pray that Elohim puts true godly friendships around you, true godly leadership around you, a true desire for Elohim, and knowing that the thing you love or you think you like, the thing you yearn for in his witnesses, his children, is actually his light. It is the quencher to all. It is what will satisfy. The living water that you will never thirst. To be whole and to complete and fully satisfied in days like Yahuah was. Restored, everything taken away, but restored double. Again, all believers are the bride. What does it mean for you to be his bride? What does it mean for him to say, do you not know your husband? Know the husbandman, know him, and to be known of him. Isn't that what the goal is as a believer? In order not to get the door shut in your face, you must know him and him know you. In order to be on the guest list to the wedding ceremony, you must know him. In order for you to partake in the wedding feast, you must know him. In order for you to be inheritor and be a son and not just a servant, you must become. You must know him. It's like he made you that way, or he made you to be the son anyway. But you must accept the sonship. Not be sexually immoral like Esau and give up your birthright for a bowl of soup. Not make an agreement to give up your inheritance. Esau did both of those things. And then he got mad and wanted to blame other people. He wanted to blame Yaakov, but Elohim also, this is how the word is truth, and it will fulfill everything, because Elohim spoke it before they weren't even in the womb. And it was so, and it is so to this very day. And it'll be so for all of eternity. That won't change. Why is it so? Because Elohim, the maker, made it so. And his word never lies. It can't. It cannot. It can't. So it was just like, you don't want the door shut in your face. And you don't, as a believer, I don't want other people's to experience the door shut in their face. I'm supposed to love you as myself. That I don't want the door shut in your face. That you would also know Elohim speaks to you directly and trusts you, knows you, loves you, said you were seated with him, tells you what your position is, treats you like Abraham, and says, I'm not going to hide anything from you. This is what I'm about to do. I'm about to burn down this city. So you know, so you prepare. I give you things before time. I let you know the timing and the ways of the light, the speed of light. I do give you the blessings that only Elohim can give, of restoration, of favor, of knowing, of abundance, of being prepared before time, before the flood comes, before destruction comes, before calamity comes, before invasion comes, before anything comes. I prepared you. And I keep you, lest you dash your foot against a stone. That you also be watchful of my signs, of my commands, of my trumpet when you hear it sounded. Of my moving when I said I'm shaking up this earth this week and I'm emptying it out. That you know me and what is in my heart. What is in my thoughts? What are my plans and my purposes? I don't keep you from anything. I'm not withholding anything from you. As a son who is an inheritor, Elohim withholds nothing from me. I'm truly the sons of Elohim. It doesn't mean you are a man. Just like the bride of Messiah doesn't mean you're just a woman. You are an inheritor. You an inheritor? Are you taking your birthright? Are you receiving your inheritance? The prodigal, he gave away his whole inheritance. But guess what? He thought, like, you know what? I'll even come back as a servant. Repented, took that walk back, made that narrow way, was received back with joy, his soul restored to the book of life. To put his name on the list, to enter into the wedding feast, to not having the door shut in his face, to receiving back sonship and a new inheritance, a robe and a ring, a new inheritance, a renewed, restored. Job was restored double. That he sacrificed. Job went through that sacrifice. Abraham went through the sacrifice. And Elohim's word did not fail. It doesn't yet today. He's still keeping his word to Abraham. Whether you have the bloodline of Abraham or you have been through the sonship, through the inheritance, through the Messiah as an inheritor of the promise of Abraham. This is why these things matter to me. They matter to me because they matter to my husband, my teacher, my father, my friend, best friend, the lover of my soul, my creator and my maker, the Elohim, the light of my life, the love of my life. The breath of my life, the one that I need and the one I can't do without. That matters. That matters. All of these competitions and stuff, it's like, these men, I was just like, why? Why as grown men would you be completing where they kept saying, stay in a child's place? All of these different people from different, because I really, like Elohim revealed, as we said, it's different sectors of the world. Different sectors. It wasn't just relatives saying that. It wasn't just people in the physical community we're in. And it wasn't just people here on YouTube that had that perspective. They think a man, any person who thinks that being a man or the bride of Christ or the bride of Messiah means money. Money answereth all things, but it's the root of all evil. If you think if that's all you have to bring to the wedding feast, I'm sorry, it's not funny. Think about this. This is what Elohim gave me the other day. It's like Messiah. I'm not putting people on my guest list in my wedding that don't know him. It's an honor to be at his wedding. It's an honor. And it's an honor to come in his clothing, attired, that you got cleansed. You went to the cleaners. You went to the dry, they weren't dry cleaners, but you went to the cleaners to get your right outfit, to be made prepared, to be watchful. You were looking out. Oh, I know that I set the date is on the calendar and I'm watching, and you sent me the invitation. I heard the call and invitation. I said I was coming. I'm there. I have the attire on and everything that you require. I'm here. Same thing that the birth of the son. He sent, who were the attendees at the birth of the son? Shepherds, wise men, and the parents. There were nobody else. If you were not the shepherds in the field, the wise men, or the parents, the people who were obviously Kodesh, a representation of those who are Kodesh. Remember all of those people when they tried to go into the ends? That was also for the favor and the honor of the son. Because you see these people who didn't even want to invite them into the space, in the condition of Miriam, in the condition of the weather, in the condition of the night, in the condition of the season. They didn't want to invite them in. And guess what? Elohim didn't want them in there anyway. He didn't want them in there anyway, but guess what? They were in the town. It's like being here on YouTube. You don't want me here. I'm not in your community. I'm not in your fellowship group. I'm not following your channel. I'm not subscribed to you. It's like that. You don't want me in your house. I'm not trying to be in your house anyway. Elohim doesn't want me in your house. Just because I'm in this town and in this space doesn't mean I'm in oneness with you. And Elohim knows it. See, he knew those people were not in oneness with Miriam, Mary, and Joseph or Yosef. He said, I don't want you in those spaces anyway. Guess where I'm going to take you? Into the nature, into the hill area. And I'm bringing wise men who brought you inheritance of what? Representation of the inheritance of what? Gifts and gold and frankincense and myrrh. And they were wise men and shepherds. It's like when Messiah says love is tried and is proven. Elohim tests us to prove it, and I will walk in his command. Do you love me? You will keep my commands. We are inheritors with him as sonship. Sovereignty. He's a sovereign of sovereigns. He said, he's not just, raising up sheep. He goes for the lost sheep, but he's Messiah, his words. He's raising up shepherds. That's who was at his birth. He's raising up wise men. Wise. The Ruach of wisdom. She was there from the beginning. And she cannot dwell with the unclean. He's raising up to you to be a wise people, a Kodesh and set apart people. He set them apart. They went through the towns. They weren't invited and welcomed in. And they went to a set apart place that Elohim had prepared. In the midst of his nature, in the midst of his way, in the midst of his creation. For the for the promise to be fulfilled, for salvation to come, for inheritance to be born, for his esteem and his name to be esteemed. You bear his name. Men think about that, the woman bearing your name, or you think about you bearing Elohim's name. They say that about, that's why they wonder about my conduct and not being of love. Oh, but check Elohim. Check Elohim. You don't have to check on behalf whether I'm not with him, but yes, you can, because you should probably ask and check with the people you spend your time with and the people you eat from their table. You fellowship with. Are you eating food from everybody? Are you drinking off the straw of somebody else? You eating off of the fork and a spoon of somebody else? The plate of somebody else? You trying to eat off their plate? Is that your husbandman? You were trying to eat off their plate? Oh, I didn't share food with my spouse, but am I drinking from the same cup of other people? Messiah said that. Can you drink from his cup? Oh, I can drink from your cup, but I'm not putting my lips where other people didn't put their lips, and I don't know who they are. Anyway, Yahuah, you're funny. And the reality is that's what it's about. People keep wondering, well, you said you came here for this and for that. Elohim gave us a number of tasks, a number of assignments, and they will be completed and fulfilled in his way and his timing. And we have already fulfilled things that he wanted us to fulfill for last season, from last year until this very day. And when things shift, like experiences where you're like, hey, I'm open to helping with this, even though this isn't my calling and my assignment. It's like when you have the need to help. It's like you're saying, yeah, hey, I can do your hair. You asked me to do your hair? Yeah, I can do your hair. Yeah, I can help you with the pampering stuff. Yeah, I can help you. You asked me for this. Yes, I could go take you. I can give you a ride. I could do this. I could do that. But that doesn't mean, like, that's not what Elohim called me. Like, he called you, yeah, I love your neighbor as yourself. But my assignment could still be my main assignment is 1144. My main assignment is a servant. Is to give of the food that he gave to me. Give from what he filled me with. I don't take on the mind of anybody else. I don't take on the traits of anybody else. That's the evil that other people have tried to do against me. We want you to mimic other people. No, I'm not. I don't care if other people are from Philly. See, people keep accusing that. She must be from Philly. Or like, no, I'm not. Or you are supposed to go to Philly. No. I know people who are part of ministries there in that place. I know people who do street ministries there. I know people who do global ministries there. But that's not my assignment. Even in volunteering, even in supporting, even in loving, even in a time, in a moment, in a month, in a week, in a year, in 2 years. Sometimes you have a mission for 3 years. Sometimes you have missions for, Paul shall I list all of them. You give an example. Sometimes Elohim took the woman with the 7 stars, which is representing his bride, into the wilderness for times and half a time. So, Yahuah, no one can steal from Yahuah. No evil goes unpunished. Why? Because Elohim's word doesn't return void. A thief, trying to steal your intellect, they can't. Trying to see through your eyes, they can't. Trying to say you're telling lies. This person, I don't know who it is who has a vendetta against me, who keeps trying to say I'm telling lies, and they're lying. I was in a store yesterday, and somebody kept asking me about this garden work, and I was like, I wasn't doing garden work last year. I had talked to people. I went to visit a garden in another place, and then even another space for that. And I was like, yeah, I would love to see how this changes, and I'll contribute. And as things were progressing, it was over a month before, from the original of like, yeah, I can contribute with this, and I would love to see this transformed and all of this. And there was this time period where there was nothing. And this was before Elohim started having us speak up about injustices and just things that just like on here that just he notices and he's like, this is not my way, or I'm esteeming this, or I'm working in this, or I'm transforming this. And so I was just like, we never said that. I said to the person, I was like, I wasn't working in gardens last year. I was like, I wasn't doing that. We literally did no garden. I was like, I didn't do any garden work. Well, except for with family, with like other people, like at people's houses. But this was I wasn't doing any in communities, but I did it at people's houses. But I was like, I didn't do garden work in a community. Not in the way that they were thinking, like as a part of a program or helping this other person or these other people. Because it wasn't follow up and follow through. Initially there wasn't. It was like months, and this happened before with like the people that are affiliated with those organizations. They operated in the same way. Like, remember the one at the school that I was going to work with, this one school, and the principal had not been responding to any correspondence for over a month, and contacted me literally the day before school started. And then it's like, school starts tomorrow, and these are the times, and we were supposed to have a training and teaching and all of that, and just preparation of getting in meeting and getting on the overview for a week within that month before. Never responded to that. It's also what Elohim showed when there was this place regarded to the military where everything was all set. And the day of, they changed. Oh, things have changed. It was also another daycare, another preschool that did the same thing come the day of. And I had that experience with a school board in a certain county. And so it was just like, oh, he was showing like, and then people would be like, oh, you play games, you play shenanigans and this different thing. Oh, that also helping with the literally with the education program of regarded with continued education. Everything's in order, and they were like, oh, everything's great. And then once the program was about to begin, and oh no, well, things changed now where you need, now there's more requirement. So it was just like, and these are some of the places that we have gotten emails from and affiliate emails from recently with universities and stuff. But actually, the university that has been sending us stuff is not the actual university through the education program was through. But nonetheless, that's neither here nor there. It's associated with other people in the community that we met. We did volunteer work in a place where in another state where they do emergency response, and it's like affiliated with organizations like that and stuff. But nonetheless, Yahuah was like, and that's why it's like, some people are like, well, this is why I wanted to contribute and help and came into agreement. As he shows, some people have a pure intention, a pure heart, and mean well, and some people, unless Elohim reveals, unless you ask, you don't know that their intention is not. One of the persons that earlier there, we told them that Elohim kept revealing, and it was like they finally acknowledged that they were trying to control. Well, I've had a lot of this stuff. You don't know what I've dealt with these other people. But they were trying to control. And there was a possession in their eyes. In their trying to control other people, including me, which they could not control. Like, anyway. And I was like, that's not the way of Elohim. But I pray that true godly leadership, true people who are well wise, Messiah, Father, I pray that your creation and the people you have marked for you and the people who are your sons and your daughters and who are your bride will have support like Messiah did at his birth. That you surround them with wise men. The safety in the multitude of wise counsel that comes from you. And you surround them with shepherds, the ones who follow in your way and come in and follow the good shepherd. And you surround them with the parents that are trained in your way. And once again, follow you. When the world shuts the doors on them, doesn't matter because Elohim has his door open. Would you rather to have the door and your face shut by Elohim, or would you rather the world shut its doors? I'd rather the world shut its doors. That was one of the things he gave me the other day. Shut the doors behind you into the place. Because again, this week we've been in part being studying from Isaiah with Yah. Shut the doors to the world. I don't care. Shut them doors. Absolutely. They are nothing I need. My sons don't need it. My daughters don't need it. The sheep don't need it. The shepherds don't need it. My kinfolk do not need that. Like, that's not what I need. That's not love. The way of the world is enmity with Elohim. I don't need that. I don't need their structures. I need Elohim's structure, his stability. I don't need anything that comes from the wicked one, from darkness, as he brought up the other day too. And his people don't need that. So that's why it's like my heart went out to this individual from today, because it's like, and before, and I was like praying for them and telling that to the Father, because it's like this is why he revealed in the Ruach of the tramp and stuff, because it's like trampled underfoot. And also, but like the tramp of being used up in the way not Elohim wants you to be used up. This is why you need to support the 4 pillars. I had a vision this past week with someone, and there were 4 friends to the right watching what Elohim was doing. Watching a restoration of Elohim, watching it, what is unity in Elohim. And they were 4 as in like the supports, as 4 represents the Father of might. It can represent the open door of Elohim, but the Father of might. And just like when there was a vision before of like 2 standing together and 4 legs having greater structure and stability. 2 becoming 1. The 4 pillars. 1155. They were a strength and represent to being a strength. Masada Shalom means that fortress. So that's why I said in that vision the other day, in that dream, it was dreams the other day, but there was also visions within it and visions after it. I understand what their dream was, and then envision peace, shalom, peace. That fortress of peace and structure of that. I understand that. However, what does it take for Elohim? A strong fortress and foundation. What does it take for Elohim to create that strong fortress and foundation? That's what he wants and is doing in his bride, BRIDE. Across the earth. He hasn't called people to just like, he doesn't adorn his bride with instability. That's where his idea that he gave me about, he said, help my poor people. Every way he contributes by his word, because he's after your soul, is helping his poor people. When he says housing stability, he is the house. The prodigal needed to return to home. And what is a home? The home is not of earth. He's always, when he's feeding you from the good shepherd, in that which you would not thirst anymore, it's not just the physical things, it's spiritual. And that is the greater, the Ruah. Not just the flesh and spirits and your being and your soul, but the Ruah is the greater. Anyway, Father was last week. Yes, you were overcoming evil with good. You always do. You are esteeming yourself. You were doing the 7. Go back 7 times. Destroying the principalities. I'm reading over my notes from things that the Father was highlighting or noticing on this week. The things that were on his heart. The things that he cared about. The things that he recognized. What he was observing of his flock. And what he was observing of his creation. Souls on fire, as he reminded me. Prayer and watch. We trust Yah to win every battle. He said to me on 5:4, the one I was just reading before was from 5:3. The one from 5:4 was, new wine shall not fail. That's what he started the week on. The new wine. What is he doing? He put new wine in the new wine skins. It shall not fail. 5:5. He gave a word again about restoring. That was when we saw the 4th cardinal. Elohim is a strength. He was saying something to me about having the keys and Yah. But Yah, what Yah can do to taking something again. And for the person who felt, or people who felt like they had nothing left in them, they had the keys. And Yah. You're supposed to ruffle your feathers. This was directly from the word of Isaiah. And he was speaking about women in labor. And not just physical labor, but more so obviously that spiritual labor and the birthing and bringing forth. And this continues as he was reminding me about the head last night from Isaiah. The men. And reclaiming. Here we go. Women in labor. Reclaiming the men. Restore. That was 4 and 44 on that day too. That was 5:5. Let's see, 5:6. 5:6. Restore again. From Isaiah again. Cities burned with fire. Stop doing evil. Reprove the oppressor. Everyone loves bribes. Forsake. He brought up the Terebinth and the Terebinth tree and the representation of that. He brought up 444. Some people's perspective about they were ready to let go of the past. And this was from the people in the prophetic community on YouTube that were coming against me. They were like, you better start. The Father revealed that some people's hearts were saying to their message to me was, you better start respecting the class. And we're like, we're not in your class. We're not teaching you a class. And anything you try to steal from Elohim, you will receive the reward of the wicked. Absolutely. Every single person. It doesn't matter. That's why we said it didn't matter if it was the president. It doesn't matter if you are a world leader. Anyone. It doesn't matter if you're a part of the Vatican. Did we read that part? That was the message today. Because this is an alignment. This is why I'm going to read it. Will he let me see? This is Catholic Church to excommunicate priests for following new U.S. state law. It was from the Vatican. Oh, Pope Leo the 14th warns against a lack of faith in Mass at the Vatican. This was from BBC from 3 hours ago. So I was like, that very statement about the lack of faith. Remember what Elohim said to us last week? They don't believe, but they will. but they don't believe. But there are some who are believing that Elohim is working. Um, so 5:6 again. Then he keeps from Isaiah. This is from the book of Isaiah. I was listening to it, and the Father, giving me revelation and speaking to me about His word. He said these people are demonic, and it was like He gave me a vision of someone on YouTube who's called they identify themselves as a prophet, and their wife. And it said the enemy is trying to distract. I mean, that was something that came from the Spirit. And I had another vision. And 44 came up again. And there was a word as I was researching that came from at the foot of covenant Ministries, because Elohim's, everything with him is a covenant when you are making oneness with him. Trees of righteousness is what this publication was titled, and an overview of the Terebinth. Not reading from it, I'm just giving an overview from the week, because what he highlighted was significant. The Catholics and Cardinals, Masada, obviously, meaning strong fortress and foundation. It mentioned that David wrote many of the Psalms at Masada. David, he referred to Masada as a stronghold. 33 came up, 14 came up, twins came up again, keep coming up and again and again and again. Not just doubles, not just multiplication, but twins, and not just double favor, not just double portion, and not just double recompense, but twins. Yah is my help, Father of help, 44. My Father is help, 44. Prayer about refreshing upon his people in his presence, 44, 44, 44, 33. Elohim was saying, you know who you are. It was reminding me of like, it's impromptu, something impromptu. Through you, many will be blessed. People speaking on what was prayed for, she prayed for, what have you. On 5:7, again, this came from Isaiah, and what Elohim was revealing and teaching 33 just came up again. He said that gave me, and this was specific to continued revelation from the dream the other day with regarding the location of Hilltop Westside. It has multiple meanings and many layers. Offhand, we just addressed that individual's perspective, person who was seeing and witnessing in their heart and their perspective of they wanted Masada Shalom. They wanted peace and a strong fortress and all of that. This is what they envisioned, but they were envisioning it. That's why I was like, it was akin to their own I have a dream speech. These other people were present because they were there. They got off a truck. They were doing work. They were doing these other things. And we didn't highlight all of that other stuff because that wasn't the main point of what he was giving us to deliver. It had many layers to it. The main point was that one individual's heart and what they were pouring out. Anyway, that's why Elohim said to us who the message is for, he would give them the revelation. Especially because people have been trying to, 44 came up again, especially because people have been trying to steal from the children of Elohim. So he said, I will give the revelation to those who the message is for. And so this was a continuation from the dream, from some of the dreams and other dreams, and even that one, about things Elohim was revealing. He already revealed, and it's always been revealing. But when we said, well, what's going on? It's not because, we don't know that people's perspective is we're provoking people with our anger. We know people's perspective is that, you're hurting people. You're not walking in love. Oh, some people were like, you're the one that's doing witchcraft, you're the one that's demon possessed, you're the one that you're bringing that upon yourself. Like, we know other people's perspectives are, oh, you won't make it out there on your own, you're a child, oh, you're hiding, we're trying to help you, we're covering this, you're doing this and you're that, or speaking words of destitution and just different things against you. And so it's just like, that is neither here nor there, because those things aren't true, one, but when we cast them down into the pit of Gehenna, when they come from. However, Elohim was specifically continuing and revealed, and this part right here is specifically towards the deeper things that have been going on. It's not that surface stuff about, oh, this inheritance of this person and what's just going on in this part of this town or any other place or any other places. Some people's perspective was like, this is why we said she needed to come to the entertainment industry and expose everything, or just different stuff like that. And some people's like, you're being known for this or you're being known for that. Well, doesn't matter the thoughts and opinions of man, not in the context of Elohim is seeing things. Elohim is thinking things. Elohim is focused on certain things. Elohim is working on things. Elohim is bringing fire to certain things, bringing revelation to certain things. That's what it is about. So this was in reference to this physical community and people who have been doing it deeper on the back end of what other people don't know, on the back end of basically what the general public don't understand. And some of the evil works that have been going on. And for me, this one thing I was like, but this is kind of silly because they advocate for this. This individual advocates for this. So I don't even understand why they're so afraid to be uncovered. But nonetheless, there are people who are wanting things on the deeper end, who are doing evil work, that they are hiding stuff for the sake of control, for the sake of power, for the sake of money, for the sake of influence, for the sake of global impact, for the sake of their what's it called, Father? Their network, or their so-called, we already said money, net worths and stuff like that, or their so-called present and what they think their future is, or what they think their assets are, or what they think their they think they have a domination, whether it is on farmlands, whether it is in technology, whether it is in green initiatives, or things that they think are the way of the future, whether they think it's involved traveling, explorations, excavations, is not, or military, government. So anyway, this is to what once, it's not really to one specific individual, but it's just like the Nephilim when they made an agreement. There was one being who initiated all of that. He had this evil thought and brought all of these people into these evil agreement with him. So this one who is like had got all of these people into this agreement on the back end. This is on the back end of the deeper things that was going on that were not righteous. This man, Elohim, this is what Elohim said. That gay man, he shall rebuke them. Elohim shall. Those that rob us. And some people are going to think that this is the perspective of a particular individual. But again, this came from Elohim, and it came from the book of Isaiah. Obviously, that word there is not in the book of Isaiah. But he was talking about, and this is from my book of Isaiah, the Most High. As I was listening to the reading of it, I don't know the translation actually that it was from, because it was an audio version. The Most High said to, and he was talking about the mountain birds of prey and a perverse spirit. And Elohim was saying again, he was talking about it. He brought up, shall make a vow to the Most High and pay it. Like when we made, my vow is to serve him. My vow is to support his cause. It's not to do, again, when I was at the grocery store and someone was like, weren't you working in gardens? No, that wasn't my vow. and the barakah of Elohim, and that's not my inheritance. So there was also been Elohim revealing that this person, not this person that he was talking to in this moment, but a separate person has been like, oh, you're forfeiting your inheritance. That's not my inheritance. My inheritance is that of Elohim. I'm not the offspring of these other people. Like, anyway, so going up to the housetops, wickedness empty. The earth is completely emptied. The city is left in ruins. Fear and the pit. The earth shall be utterly shattered. Remember, this is from 5:7, and this is from the book of Isaiah. Shaken as prisoners. Guard the truth. It guards the truth. He trusts in you. This is what he was like, trusting in his people. If he says that to you, like he trusts you with an experience, or he trusts you, a foot tramples it down. The path of the righteous is right rulings. Light a fire for your adversary. Shut your doors behind you. Burn the city. The Most High, I would burn them together. City of defense is lonely. This was in a vision, another envision. Whom he will make to understand the message. He speaks to the people. This is from Isaiah. The word of the Most High was unto them. Your covenant, and this is he's talking about those that are doing wicked. And he said, the earth he's completely empty in earth. Cities left in ruins. Talking about burning certain cities and different things like that. Basically, I'm going to address the wicked, and I'm going to light a fire for your adversary. Shut your doors behind you. I will burn them together. The city of defense is lonely. In vision, when he gives the visions and stuff, whom he is capital H, Elohim, will make to understand the message. He speaks to the people. Elohim speaks to the people. The word of the Most High was unto them. The word of the Most High is unto of Elohim is unto his people, but also to the ones doing wicked. And so this part is to the wicked ones. Your covenant with death shall be annulled. The ones who've been prodigal, and because he revealed to us a specific person, said they would not rest, or they would not it was like 2 days ago or yesterday, he revealed to us this person made this agreement that they said of themselves, I will not rest, or I will not give up until this has been done. Like, they made a covenant of death. Like, it was also like when we were reading in the book of John, and they made the agreement that until Messiah was caught, they would not eat until Messiah was caught. They made a covenant of death against Messiah. And this person had made a covenant. Their intention was like to protect these two people. He revealed this to the other day. This person, their intention was to protect these two people, but they were like, they would not rest, or they wouldn't let up, or they wouldn't stop until basically they had vindicated these two people. However, even though they wanted to vindicate these two people, I was like, my response was like, that's not righteous. That's not what Elohim wants you to do. So he was saying to that particular person, their covenant with death shall be annulled. And they shall only be, and then he said, and shall only be stood to understand the message. Elohim talks about being visited by him, and in his visions, in his night visions, and different things like that. And that's what the scripture was saying again. You shall be visited by the Most High in the night visions. Turn aside the righteous with emptiness, those who went astray in spirit. So when he said, those who went astray in spirit, this is a rebellious people. 1,000 at the rebuke of one. Even if he uses like Eliyahu, when he used Eliyahu, or any messenger, or Stephen or John, to rebuke a multitude of people, like 1,000 at the rebuke of one. Some people's interpretation was that was the other way, but he was already saying, he said, turn aside. And those who went astray in spirit, this is a rebellious people. So he's saying a people. He didn't say person. It's a people. It's a multitude. So that 1,000 people that are being rebuked by the one. The Most High should wait to show compassion to you. If these ones that went astray, should he wait to show you compassion? Wait to show compassion to you. He said some other things. And then he said, this is the way. Walk in it. So he's like, I'm showing the way for my people. It says, the path of the righteous is right rulings. He said that already at the top of the message from 5:7. And it says, this is the way, walk in it. The name of the Most High is coming from afar. The Most High shall cause his excellent voice to be heard. Again, I don't know what translation of scripture this was from. But, oh no, you know what I know it was? Hallelujah. I thought it was Hallelujah scriptures, but I don't remember actually my hard copy saying the Most High so much. But anyway, the name of the person doing the audio version might just, what we do when we're reading out loud, we insert, if it says God, we insert Yah. So the name of, they might just say the real name, or they might say a title versus saying the real name. The name of the Most High is coming from afar. The Most High shall cause his excellent voice to be heard. Ministering from a full heart was a message that he brought up later on. And that's when we saw one of the signs was we were traveling on the way. There was a license plate that said, let God. And then he brought up 44 again, and 44, the meaning, Father of might. And then he reminded me of watch Yah work. Watch Yah work. He's still being esteemed. Was it this week, Father, where you were giving me the message about, or was it a continuation from this week, or started last week, about the esteem? He was reminding me of the scripture verse. He esteemed his name. He esteemed it before, and he esteemed it again. Solely esteem of Elohim. So his miracles, his signs, and his wonders continue. And so he brought up and reminded me, watch Yah work. Then we saw another vision. We saw not a vision. We were traveling on along a way again, and we saw another sign of the symbol and the emblem and the logo of Air Force. This has been used many times informally, but Air Force in the number 433. 4 and 33 being utilized again. He was reminding us of other people, these other spirits, beasts and bitter. It's not people, but those spirits. And with that, he was speaking on the message of life's test. Life's test is what he said. And then he gave us later on, the rich are responsible. The rich are responsible. Some opinions that were being given, but that were where they need this came from them. This came from the individuals against us. These men that were against us, from, again, the physical community on the back end, and the deep, like on the surface, people think that things are okay, but like, no. And then even some of the people who might call themselves mores, or might call themselves pastors in the physical community, or prophets, or might be a CEO of an organization, or in a leadership position. And so, not might be, they are some of these men. And so one of the things that he brought up from them was she thinks she's a mastermind, but they think that they're they were saying that of me, like, oh, you're acting like, see, you're showing you're not a mastermind, and like they think they're the mastermind. And one of the things that Elohim brought up, they said, was that's what happens when you play in a league of men. So they think that the things that they've done to or against us have been a harm, or, oh my goodness, she's so distraught, we're not, or you're hurt, we're not. Like, we have been angered by the provoking of anger, or also with the deeper thing of where are the people who love Elohim, and the desire, as Elohim said, he's reclaiming his men, right? And we pray and rejoice for that, because those men that do not realize the value of a man is in the value of Messiah and the value of Elohim. The value of a woman is in the value of Messiah and in the value of Elohim. And that's why when we read the scripture from John 7 the other day, or was it John 8? When we read the scripture from the witnesses of John, where it's also in 5, where he's like, we value the witnesses in John. So John 5 talks about the value of Messiah and the value of Elohim. And John 8 talks about the value of Elohim. We value Elohim, which is why you come to understand and be what Elohim made you to be. Your maker is your husband and you're his bride, even as a male or a female, as a man or a woman. The value in him to be made into his spotless bride is great honor, and comes with that the inheritance, the sonship, the sovereignty, legacy, heir, birthright, promise of Abraham. You are either adopted into or accepting of the inheritance of Abraham. Like it is no greater honor. And so then to value the Father and the Son and be valued of them and be one with them. But anyway, for those who believe that, there's no better life than the life that is life, which is the Maker. Anyway. So their thoughts, these were their thoughts about that's what happens when you play in a league of men. And I prayed, like, when people don't have that heart, thought, mind, understanding of Elohim and Messiah, it's like, honestly, I pity them. I really do. Because you don't know the good thing. But I pray that you do come to know the good thing. Come to know the one that is good. That's what happens when you come against my crew. Is also there some of these men's thoughts. And Elohim said they are demon possessed, specific people. He was revealing. And then again later on, we saw another sign, miracle signs and wonders in his sign and his wonder, another plate that said, as we were again moving, traveling about, it said only God sent. So then we had the witnesses of John again after that, from the book of John, and let's see, from yesterday, May 8th, we had May 8th, and again we have people who are fear. They're full of there's no other way to say it. There's been other people who have been so full of fear. It feels like a nuisance. But been so full of fear and so full of doubt and so full of worry about the prophecies of Elohim, when he said he has to shake up the earth. He has to empty. He has to do everything his word says. He has to gather Israel, Judah. He has to raise up a righteous generation. He has to do everything he said he would do. He has to fulfill the promises to Abraham. He has to fulfill the word to Messiah of making his enemies his footstool. He has to fulfill every prophecy of Revelations. He has to fulfill every messianic prophecy. Like, he has work he has to do, which is probably also why he says he will not come down from the Shamayim to do the things that men are too apathetic to do for themselves, because mankind has a responsibility in a work, just like the grass has work, the flowers have work, the luminaries have work, the water, the earth, the waters above and waters beneath have work, the messengers have work. We all do. And he's not coming in to say, hey, I'm going to do the work as an eye of the work of a nose. It's not, that would be out of order. And then if that eye is not doing the part that the eye is supposed to do, what's out of order. So 5:8 yesterday, he was talking about the protector and bringing up the darkness. He's a protector against darkness. He kept bringing up 44, which again was Father of Might. Again, the door. Again, Father is my help. He just always there, righteous, his righteousness. And that was when I said to him, now what? Yeah. And he gave me a vision of the signs and the wonders that I had seen, some of the signs and wonders I had seen through the week of creating those, which is where what we put up today or put up for Shabbat come from. And then 44 again and 44 again, and names and people and things that have been in dreams and visions, and the reminder of what some of these names mean. Some of them mean salvation or gift from Yah. We talked about bringing up the revelations, the overcap of shutting the doors behind you, him restoring, the Terebinth, strong, fortress and foundation, Father of help, my Father is help, Father of might, the doubles, the twins, the multiplication, double favor, double portion, double restoration, shall make a vow to the Most High and pay it. You shall be visited by the Most High of hosts. And night visions, turn aside the righteous with emptiness, those who went astray in spirit. Though this rebellious people, 1,000 at the rebuke of one, the Most High should wait to show his compassion to you. This is the way he will show you. This is the way, walk in it. The name of the Most High is coming from afar. The Most High shall cause his excellent voice to be heard, ministering from a full heart. You know who you are. Impromptu. You know who you are. Like, that just has multiple meanings as far as his children and his people in this. If he's giving somebody to be ministering, like, it's not just to me or anything like that. You know who you are. Like Elohim, when he says he will make his name to be on high. He's coming from afar. Like his name is coming from afar. His voice will be heard. And you know who you are. Like when he said he would give the revelation to those who the messages is for, like he will point out who you are and what it is. He doesn't, that's what he is. Like he doesn't withhold from his people and hide. And that's why we're saying when the Nephilim operated in these other ways of like this, like kind of like sneakiness or not being clear or trying to like figure things out, but not just come and ask you to wreck these other things that are like strange behaviors towards not the way how Elohim operates. That's also the witness of that which is not the seed of Messiah, or the seed of Elohim, but the seed of the adversary, because Elohim operates in specific ways, and so does his adversary. So again, taking away Father of might, let Yah watch Yahuah work. Life's test, Yahuah sent shift. He was shifting, and he's still doing those shifts. And what he said about the earth, and even on this channel, the watch hours this week, and the 44 coming up again, and the 44 coming up again, and with the percentile of a specific region, and opposed to other regions, and then the breakdown, of course, like more numbers of men this week or in these couple of weeks than the last ones. Before it was like, remember that one week where it was just like all women. Remember when he was giving the revelations of the sororities? And it was all women. And then this time is like these higher numbers of males. So that's funny. Yah's like, his stuff is everywhere, and he provides clarity and understanding, and he doesn't leave in the dark. He doesn't leave it to be like, he left nothing undone. He makes everything whole, complete, fulfilled. It's not like unfinished. So thank you, Yahuah, for this week. Thank you for your revelations. Thank you for your visions. Thank you for your word going forth. I thank you for removing minds of captivity. Like, I'm really, people are trying, when I'm giving word, there's people who he's revealed trying to do witchcraft, trying to siphon, and they use this spell called, where they are speaking, you can't stop me from claiming your intellectual property. It's a spell. And yes, I'm calling you out. You know who you are that's doing that. And that's why we're like, it doesn't work. We literally, it doesn't work. And the ones who try to prevent me, like, when also there's the difference when the adversary is trying to prevent you from uploading or doing something. We don't want you in here. We don't want you to say that. We don't want you to say people's names. And I say adversary because the people, 33 is here again, because the people who are behind those thoughts and those actions are serving Satan. That's what Elohim said. And that's what it is, because Elohim doesn't lie. So again, when they are calling themselves mores or teachers or pastors or prophets, or it doesn't matter, doesn't mean all of those people, but like it just people, just be watchful, like the word says, watchful. You see those which are literally working like Satan did. And then the difference between working like David, working like Messiah, working like Abraham, and working like somebody else. And these people who continue to accuse me of being a liar, but they are lying, they keep trying to mask themselves. If you were telling the truth, you would let yourself be exposed to the light. That's what the book of John says. The book of John says, and Elohim in the beginning of the week, when we knew fire was coming and we would be put under fire for what we posted, because he reminded us, 77, he reminded us, like, still put it up there in 55 and 33, still put it up there. We prayed again, we saw him again. It was like, you put the message out there, because there are people who have even, who are of the walk, who have, like, well, she's saying and doing things people aren't willing to do with regards to, there are so many people in churches that I haven't walked into a church where they have not been afraid to tell people the Bible says this whole list of things will keep you out of heaven. Have you walked into a church where they told you that? Or are they trying to just placate your feelings in kindness and in a false love or false word? Scripture, are they fighting and contending against what actual scripture says or what Messiah says, even with regard to marriages? What Messiah says about marriage, what Messiah says about adultery and fornication. They keep using the verse, he's without sin, cast the first stone. That doesn't get you into heaven, because 1 Corinthians says what? The righteous don't sin. Like, you don't continue to sin. It also says don't use your righteousness for a cloak of sin. You don't get to just keep sinning. Yes, it's not a crucifixion. It's not a crucifixion for those who, he said, the ones that went astray. But Isaiah, what he gave me from Isaiah is what he means. You don't have to like it and agree with it. And if it's not for you, don't be here. He said he will give revelation to those who the message is for. We're not going to argue with people who the message isn't for. The people who continue to call the word of God or us the word of Elohim and his righteousness, his written word, a lie. The people who continue to lie on the circumstances of volunteering, or what are we going to help for or not help for, where we were, where we weren't, where what we were doing, what we weren't doing. Covenants that were made before Elohim in the sight of Elohim and his witnesses. Whether it's the blood and the Ruach and the water, the differences between the flesh, the spirits, the being that he made a being that can have a soul and that can house the Ruach. People don't know the difference between that. Some people keep talking about, you're not one in spirits. We're sure not one in spirits. Spirits could be gluttony, like spirits could be vanity. We're certainly not. Your being, soul, your Ruach, everything should be oneness with Elohim. And the spirits of cleanness that are flowing from Elohim, wisdom, yes, the kindness and all that kind of stuff, flowing the fruit of the Ruach of Elohim. Those are the spirits you should house. Yeah. And your flesh should be in alignment with that too, as Messiah's was, as Eliyahu's was, as Hanak's was. That's why Messiah said to us all, be perfect as your Father in the Shamayim is perfect. Not how the world says perfection. The world has strange ideas of what perfection is. Do you see what they think perfection is with beauty? What perfection is according to education and knowledge? What perfection is according to entertainment? The world thinks perfection is like the world's idea of perfection is strange to Elohim. It's the ways of strange. Like, peculiarness in Elohim is strange to the world. Uniqueness in Elohim is strange to the world. Anyway, so there's all of these other things that other people don't understand. And it's many, many layers. We're not in multi-dimensions. We are here in the Ruach of Elohim, with the spiritual, with the natural plane, with his Shemaim above and below, and the many layers of the Shemaim, the waters above and the waters beneath. I'm not in agreement with all of these other ideas of dimensions and stuff that are not in alignment with what Elohim says. I'm also not in alignment with what the world says astronomy looks like versus what Elohim says. I'm not in alignment with astrology and like signs and calling the cancers and all that. You know, like those just different things like that in the mysticism, because it's taken from the fallen ones, took what was of Elohim and perverted it. So Elohim had astronomy. He has astronomy. And the fallen ones try to create astrology. I don't agree with that. I don't agree with the ways of the adversary. Doesn't matter what it is. That's why I said the world's idea of perfection versus what Elohim says is perfection. I don't agree with the strangeness. Elohim calls it strange. I agree that Elohim's way is peculiar, but I agree that the world's way is strange. Because that's what my father in the Shemaim says. So all of these other things, like people who try to infiltrate Elohim's people, try to enter in the sheep pen, try to steal their way into the kingdom, try to steal from children out of Elohim, try to assault the minds of Elohim. Even the adversary behind that. People who try to monitor any of that kind of stuff is unrighteous. It doesn't prosper. Like, we literally know it doesn't prosper. You can't stop what Elohim wants to do. You can't. That's why it's like the children of Satan, right, can't comprehend the light. Like we're not. And so we've closed, Elohim has already closed the door on that which is not of him. We know those things don't prosper. It really is like, oh, we were sitting earlier and I was like, Elohim, thank you for and further proving that you are the truth. We said this before. He keeps proving that he's the truth, because these other things is like, he cannot lie. If you are son of Elohim, if you are an inheritor of Elohim, he wants you to believe him. In Elohim, there is no darkness and no fear. Anything that thinks that it will be able to overcome Elohim is a liar. Anything that thinks that it will be able to prevent the word of Elohim from being alive, active, breathing and moving in this moment, in 1,000 years from now, is a liar. Anything that thinks that it can prevent every messianic prophecy, the prophecies of Revelations, that anything Elohim has spoken, it doesn't matter if he used a baby. It doesn't matter if he used a sign or a wonder. If it's truly of Elohim, there is no way to prevent it from being fulfilled. You can't. You can't. No one and nothing can prevent Elohim's word from being fulfilled. Nothing. And so it's like, it puts in perspective how futile, 1244, how futile fights for power, contentions, factions in the body of trying to get dominion on an earth that is not, not ascribed to anything by Elohim. Like rulers and powers and kingdoms. He said, even when he gave me last week, right, the powers in the heavenly realm of darkness, fighting against that in the heavenly realm, like, it is for naught. It really puts it into perspective, because Elohim is constantly showing, as he said in 8, you will see. They said you would taste. The devil said you would taste, but the Elohim said they would see. Messiah said you would see. We'll see. We see Elohim. Like, we see him everywhere, in everything. And we see that his word is not voided ever. His word never fails. It's active. It's working simultaneously all the time. Because he's time. He's light. He's the creator. He's the maker. It's like, it says what's impossible for man is possible with Elohim. But for Elohim... So it was earlier, I was just appreciating that of the Father. I'm appreciating you, Abba, and I'm appreciating you even now with your who you are. I prayed for it, but I'm appreciating you even now for who you are, because it was like just that reminder of your heart. You answer my prayer continually. To know you, to watch you, to observe you, to see what you see, to hear what you hear, to think what you think, to know what bothers you, to know what is your pet peeve, to know what makes you excited, know what makes you happy, know what you're delighted in, to be your helpmeet, to be your bride and be pleasing in your sight. And when you say that, when you say to your bride, I trust you. I love you. You're seated with me. You're my co-heir. You're here with me. You are one with me. You're whole and full and complete, like everything. Well pleasing in his sight. Oh, glorious. Glorious. So it's just like, to see, it's like, that's how I feel at times. Like, why are these people competing for stuff that they don't even, what are you talking about? There's no competition. That's what we mean when we say that. We're not saying that in a like, you're better than anybody else. We're literally like, what are you doing? Cause it's like, get the revelation of Messiah had. When Hasatan tried to tell him, jump off and end his life. Oh, the messengers will bail you up if you try to take your own life. And he said, don't tempt Elohim. Oh, well, I'm going to show you the whole kingdoms of the world. I can give you all of this if you do what I say. He said, don't put any mighty ones above Elohim. Well, you got power, you got authority, and you're hungry, make this stone bread. No, I'm not going to go against the command of my father. So, Yahuah, you are awesome. You're awesome, and your ways are awesome, and they're true. And you don't fail. You don't fail. You don't fail. And there's this lie from certain people that are like, you don't understand what people are going through. It's a lie. It is a flat out lie. And it's like, Father, deliver that mindset of like, I don't know what it is that comes from like a pity, a victim mentality. I don't know if it's just like, what is it? Yes, you're hurt, you're wounded. It might be healing. That you really are in a healing. The body keeps the score, the trauma, but when you're healed, you'll seem the comparable of not just, the heebie-jeebies, not just the creepy crawlies, not just the turning of the stomach, not just the Ruach nudging you oop, time to get out, not just the hearing the voice of the Father or his messengers, not just the pulling of the Ruach, but literally the other day, I was about to watch something that I started to see at my dad's, and already the Ruach was talking to me and telling me you know it's going to be stuff in there that's it's not clean, it's not pure, it's a sadisticness, it's a darkness about it. And the Ruach, so the Ruach in me, and my soul, and my being, and my inner man are disturbed by it. They were disturbed by it. So the Ruach was already warning me. I turned it on because I was just like, okay, we'll skip over that dark stuff. And just to get to the moral of the story. This is what I was thinking. We'll just get to the moral of the story. No, I turned that on and it was already these scenes. They were dark and it was just disgusting. It was so impure. It was so unclean. It was so much lasciviousness. It was like no innocence. At that dream we had the other day, it also had that the person was pouring out from a place of purity and innocence. But then you also see moments that you see people in the spirit where they're innocent. That's why my heart went out to that individual, be treated like a tramp as a spirit. Taking their innocence, taking their purity away. But anyway, this film, and my inner man, all of them in agreement. The body, the Ruach, the being, the soul, and my being, it started to churn. Almost like when I know what it was comparable to, because I've had in the past before Elohim healed me from certain kinds of trauma, that kind of trauma. It was like that plus just, it was just churning, and it started to make me feel sick as well. There wasn't just it wasn't a feeling of anxiousness and worry and fear, But it was like, ugh, it was just so disgusting and gross and unclean and grating and like nails on a chalkboard and like deep terrible trauma. It was abuse. In a moment, it was abuse. I could feel the abuse that was happening to my Ruach. That was happening to the Ruach of Elohim. That was offensive to the Ruach of Elohim. That was harmful to the Ruach of Elohim. It was like, there's no cleanness in this. There's no purity in this. There's no innocence in this. And it is defiling. That was what it was going to do. Like the Father was revealing, this is going to defile my purity, my temple, my vessel, my innocence and purity, like his cleanness, his inner man. And so when he's like, you're either serving one or you're serving the other, the Ruach, the inner man, should be the stronger man always. It should be the strong. It should be the strength. That's the pillar, the Masada Shalom, the inner man. And Elohim dwells within. So, and what is unseen, because he's of Ruach, and he moves in the spiritual and all of that, because everything is. So anyway, it was just like, it was literally, I've been in that, going to a house before, right, where felt the difference of what it feels like on the exterior skin. I feel like the heebie-jeebies. Something's wrong here. There's something in this place that should not be. When we traveled along the way and we could smell the smell of death, because there had been witchcraft and sorcery and medium, and it smelt like death, decaying bodies. And there may have actually been under that bridge, where that school, where all those things were taking place, dead bodies. I didn't go looking. I could smell it. It was disgusting and vile. So those kinds of things where it's just like, no, he's not telling you to ignore that. That day he let us see that channel that came up in the feed. And literally we were, again, feeling it in the Ruach. And the Ruach said, there's a demon, there's a demonic possession over that channel. And I think I was like, were you doing that so that that person would know, and they would be praying? They would be praying for the deliverance of themselves and their channel and whatever was coming against them. So it was gross. That's why I said we try to be explicit, because not try to be. We are ourselves. We are who Elohim made us. Because it's not, and people are like, things are games, things are jokes, things are light, things are easy, things are not that serious. Not in Elohim's world. Not in Elohim's kingdom. So anyway, I will be with you all, bless you and keep you, be gracious to you, make his face to shine upon you, and give you all peace. Oh yeah, you are awesome. And you just continue to show the value of you, the value of Messiah, the value of what you value, where your worthiness is, and where the worth of life. And I pray, like I said, I pray your people will have what Messiah had at his birth. Always. Not because as an inheritor and in sonship and in sovereignty with you, we are inheritors of it, but because they were living at 55, because they're living it right now, that they continue in their constant present, in your presence, they have the support of Messiah. It's not a hypothetical. It's not I want to experience and want it to come. I want to receive the Ruach, but they are presently with you always, as you are presently with your people always. And your wise men are presently with them always. And your shepherds are presently with them always. And they're presently under the support and the sonship and the sovereignty and the inheritance and the heir, the co-heir as the bride of Messiah, that they are good, they are well-pleasing, they are faithful brides to Messiah, to you, Elohim. That we as your people are your faithful bride, your faithful servant, your faithful child. Oneness with you. You want that. You're doing that. You're shaking the earth. You're emptying the dross. You're fulfilling your every word. Every word. Every word. Every prophecy, messianic, and of revelations, and everything you created throughout all of eternity. It's sure. In Messiah, you are the key, and we know that it's sure. You prove it. You've proven it, and you will continue to prove it. So I just thank you. That was just interesting. I just had a vision of an eclair and a cream puff and chocolate and French. And so anyway, nonetheless, in a vision of a glimpse from a show from France, but nonetheless chocolate eclair cream puff. It also reminded me of Peru, which I also saw something in the headlines for Peru as well. But I just thank you, Abba. Oh, the churros and the chocolate, which is the way that they do it, the way that the natives do it. Delicious. But anyway, savory. We love savory, Father, and sour, and all of your things. You said his word talks about the man that eats bitter. That's why John was sustained on locusts and honey. But a man can eat bitter foods, like imagine that as your greens, as people would call it in my heritage, your roughage, but your greens and stuff, eating the bitter good foods and be satisfied because they're well good for you. The plants of the earth, the plants of the field, and the seed with the fruit, the plants with the seed in it, the fruit with the seed in it, and this seeds that grow inside of itself and all of that kind of stuff. So the things that Elohim creates is to be cherished, honestly. It is to be appreciated. He allowed me to watch something the other day. I don't really watch TV or films or stuff like, oh, check something or lead me to something. But outside of that, I'm just like, So in this film, there was a great appreciation for food and what the simplicity of it, but also the complexity of it. And in a way, it was the value in each thing. The value in the uniqueness of it. And then when I think about that, if I think about the plants and what they're adding in that nutrients, why would I want to modify that? I wouldn't personally want to change what Elohim has made. I wouldn't want to take anything away from it or add to it because it is perfect. Me personally. Like, it's precious, it's cherished, it's honored, it's like it's pure. I don't think there's any purpose in taking away from the purity of Elohim. I really don't. I mean, I don't think there's like a good or a better purpose in it. I think that what Elohim makes is simply pure and beautiful and wonderful and awesome and amazing. And in its nature of what he created and made it to be, it has so much value. It has so much richness. It has abundance. It's greater than rich. It's wealth. It's abundance. It's pure. It's innocence. It's amazing. Amazing in that, because it's like, if I think of a plant and the seed and the ability to reproduce, and when foods that have and they grow in place where the soil is fertile and rich and dense and like just it has great nature to its original makeup. There's so much value in the original intent, in the paleo and the ancient of days, in the ancient way, and the nature of it, that pureness, not to be undefiled, untainted, untempered, like. And even when you see tribes and things that way, where they're like, they haven't migrated. They've maintained the preservation, just different things. The value, when I think of that in a sense of food, how nutritious, how many people desire to have quality food today. Here in the United States, at least, where you have food that has the soul still in it. Basically, it's the essence what Elohim gives and makes that nothing else can recreate. No robot, no AI, no technology, no modifications, no migration patterns, no archaeology, anthropology, nothing that's like no kind of modification, no evolution. That Elohim and its pureness and its rawness of what he made it is like so rich and dense. But over time, if these things become to be modified, there's taking away of the essence of the, as we see in me personally, I see in the States with food as an example, education, other things as an example, like when you take away from the heritage, when you take away from the ethnicity of a people and stuff, and there's so much abundance in that. The plants that are abundantly, and again, what is then produced after that, apples that taste good and have a rich and nutrient, and they have more value than something I've modified and altered to just reproduce rapidly. It's not comparable to, nothing can compare to, in my opinion, what Elohim makes naturally. Nothing can compare to it. I thank Elohim for his advancements that have helped save lives. But even if I think of a kidney transplant, and I think about what Elohim has given a being and how he has made it so it recognizes its own DNA code in that which isn't, even when you have the conception of a baby. Understanding that a sperm is a foreign DNA to the DNA of the mother. And Elohim making it so that can take place, that can merge and become and not be rejected outside from the inside of the body, that it is not its own DNA code, just different things like that. So anyway, Elohim is amazing. 33. Your double favor, Father, your double portions. But anyway, I just reject and that's what people they romanticize about. If you think of entertainment, you think of fields, you think of lives about these other places, whether it's the quality of life, whether it's moments of peace, stillness, the things that truly can only come from Elohim. Truly only Elohim can put his essence in our creation, that it's not that plants and stuff have a soul, but they have the life of Elohim in them. And that can't be replicated. That's why it is so peculiar. That's why it's so unique. That's why it's so valuable. You can't replicate Elohim. And that's why, when people try to steal from his people, they can't replicate it. It will never be the same. If I try to make an incubation of twins, as you've seen in some films in Hollywood, for the future, in the way that mankind, that world envisions the future of being, it's not Elohim's vision, but their vision. The way that the Nephilim envision the future being, where they're creating babies or things and incubating them, or foods and things, and is never ever comparable to Elohim. Astrology can never compare to astronomy. It can never. Elohim is matchless. He's so matchless. It's he's matchless. He can't match. There's no competition. That's what when I say that, again, there's no competition between what Elohim makes and creates and is of him and that which is not. That means the spirits included. Those spirits, any spell, curse, trying to have control and might, the spirits are no match for the Ruach. It's no comparison. somebody trying to say being one in spirits or spirit is wine and spirits. There are literally spirits that can come from hard liquors and stuff, because it is a part of drug sorcery. It's a part of drunkenness. It's a part of the things that, like, if you to continue in them would be separation from Elohim. So drunkenness, because of those spirits that come from it. What's the other one? Pharmakia, drug sorcery, pharmaceuticals, and anything else like the drug sorcery, because they promote the separation from Elohim. So those spirits are not comparable to the Ruach of Elohim. They're not at all. They can never match and never compare and never be like it ever. It will never be that way, because you cannot, okay, it's like saying Elohim, the devil has no Elohim in him. So everything the devil is behind, he has no Elohim inside of him. He was made of Elohim, but he fell and separated as an eternal separation. And set, now his judgment is already set, but also set for destruction already. And when it says Elohim is light and there's no darkness in him at all. So there can no, like, the adversary is not inside of Elohim. Even when Hasatan came before the sons of Elohim, he wasn't inside. You know, he didn't remain, and he doesn't remain inside. Like, he's not of the inner man. Now, the example that I gave, like that darkness from that film, it was like churning. Like the churning against the Ruach was like, heck no, turn it, get this out of here. Remember when I said, like, it doesn't even, Elohim's Ruach is like, I know, he notices even when something's trying to touch the pinky. Like, it's like, don't even touch me. It's like when the Shaul was bit by the serpent or the cobra on the island, and it did nothing. Poison could do absolutely nothing. It was like, he shook it off. And just shake this thing off into the fire, because that's where it belongs. It belongs in the fire. So anyway, anywho, yeah, it's like, whew. He's awesome. He's amazing. And I thank you. I thank you for your word. I thank you for how you always pour out. I just appreciate you, Father, and appreciate your ways. I thank you for reminding me of your appreciation and need. Like, you do that. You do that. You bring us to those moments. You make them so. Look at this title. Cardinal Robert Prevost becomes the first American Pope, choosing the name Leo. Isn't that funny? Wasn't he already talking about that? NPR, one day ago. New Pope Leo the 14th, celebrating first Mass. Wants church to be beacon of light. This is something you were praying, and this is something one of the Asian sisters was praying the other day. And she was praying also against, what's it called? Attacks on the weather, or trying to manipulate weather and things like that, even with emissions or any of those kinds of things. But Elohim is awesome, isn't he, y'all? Elohim is awesome. Starry night. Alrighty. Peace, blessings, be well, shalom, and Yahuah continue to be exalted, esteemed, and the light of the world, and the city is set upon a hill. Have your way, Father, and your desires be done over all things. You are the canceller of everything that is not of you, and we thank you. And you are the prevailer over all. And Yeshua Mashiach. Amen. Shalom.